In the studio with us is comedian Mike Young. How is it that with all the mutual friends we have, you've never been on the show before?
I think I'm offended.
I don't recall you rolling through town very often. Where do you live?
I live in Detroit right now.
Okay,
I was LA 17 years.
that's why.
But like 15 years ago, I came through Tampa with with Brett Ernst.
Oh yeah,
And Sebastian Maniscalco on the Young American Comedy Tour. I've known your name forever, and I'm surprised. Yeah, I don't know.
Sebastian's number one on our list of people we used to put on the air who became famous who we can't get on the air anymore. I mean, we used to put Sebastian on the air when he couldn't sell out Side Splitters or he couldn't sell out the Funny Bone or whatever, and he would come in and he'd be like, "I'm trying, I'm busting my ass," and then all of a sudden one day it was just like, boom,
rocket ship.
He became a superstar.
It was a rocket ship. I watched it happen. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I like Brett. Brett was just in here not too long ago.
Oh yeah, Brett's awesome. He's with us tomorrow actually.
Do you know what put you over on this show? Because you hit me up about coming on, and I get that a lot, especially on social media. No, I don't care. I mean, it's how we find new friends of the show. I love it. I love, but not all of the people who hit me up are worthy of coming on the show.
Yeah,
and especially a lot of like up and comer guys. I know one day you'll be good, but we're not quite there yet, you know. And it's not that I don't know. Anyway. The whole point was I saw that we had a lot of mutual friends. I'm like, this guy's got to be good. He's got to be, And who do you think I talked to, or unless you know already, that I reached out to and to double check it, that gave you the thumbs up that I was like, all right, yeah, book it.
It's either Jen Sturger or Bert Kreischer.
Neither.
Wow.
Bert, Bert and I during the holidays, he's over there and he goes to Italy and all that stuff. I haven't talked to Bert since November.
Okay.
And I haven't talked to Jen in probably over a year. Just because she's out running around. No.
Give me one more shot.
Yeah.
Paul Verzi?
Yeah, there you go.
Paul Verzi. I
guy.
saw that you were with him or put a picture up of him, and I said, hey, I said, just talk to this guy. He's going to be in town. Should I put him on the show? And he wrote back, absolutely funny, good guy, one of us, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, that's all I needed. Dominus Probiscus from Verzi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good one, man.
So now, give me your background, because I saw that not only do you do comedy, but you what were you producing things or directing things?
Writing, directing. Yeah. So background is stand up. Came up with Brett, Sebastian, all those guys. Started the Comedy Store, stand up my whole for years and years. And in the middle of all that, I ended up selling a script and making a movie called My Man is a Loser, and they let me direct this thing.
Really?
And it starred Michael Rappaport and John Stamos. And so the movie gets sold and does pretty well. And then I'm still doing stand-up.
Who was the loser? Rappaport? I mean, I'm going out on a limb on that one.
Rappaport's a strong loser.
Yeah.
Surprising.
One of the best losers in the game.
I love Rappaport.
That's my boy. He's been in. So from that, I've done I've directed 3 and made 4 movies now. Rappaport's in 3 of them.
Oh, really?
I just go right back to Rappaport.
Do you think that Rappaport brings you down in the movies? Do you think nah, he's a great actor. I'm just busting his balls. So let me ask you this. So I have written a couple of things.
Yeah.
My wife is always like, and even my niece who lives in California and works in the industry is like, that's a pretty good script. But what do you like? I wouldn't even know where to start. And I have an agent and the whole thing, but I wouldn't even know where to start. And then all of a sudden they get this pilot that I wrote and they like it, right? And then they go, oh, we like it. Give us the rest of the show. I go, well, I don't have the rest of the show.
It's a whole process.
Yeah.
It's a ton of work. But if I always started with it. Always starts with the script, and then you get your script, you send it out to people, and you look for independent money if a studio's not going to pick it up.
I just wonder how many, like in my mind.
Yeah,
they're getting so many scripts from people who think that they're giving them good scripts that I'm just going to be like one of those guys that thinks I have a good script and it's going to go on a pile and nobody's ever going to look at it.
So I toured with Saget for years, right?
Okay.
I toured with Bob. I opened for Bob for a lot of years. So when I wrote this one script, I was like, John Stamos is perfect for this part. Will you please get Stamos the script? He got Stamos the script. He read it. He goes, dude, this part is perfect for me. I'm in.
Wow.
So I had Stamos had said yes. So then I went to some money guys that I knew who wanted to make a movie.
And you got John Stamos attached to it now?
Stamos was the stud centerpiece, and then Rappaport was the fumbling husband. And we made My Man is a Loser, and that was how the first one happened. And after the premiere, some other guys, some other finance guys that wanted to make it like $1 million movie were at the premiere. They came up to me right after. They're like, "Hey, we loved your movie. Do you want to do a movie with us?"
What is the budget of the Loser movie?
My Man is Loser was $5 million.
Wow. And somebody put that up.
Somebody,
but in movie,
a group of people.
In movie terms, is not a lot of money. But it was a lot of money
Detroit.
for you to gather.
I grew up on a scrap metal truck shoveling brass every day with my dad.
Gotcha.
$5 million is a lot of money, no matter what country you're from, what neighborhood you're from.
But you knew you could confidently make a movie for $5 million.
I thought I could make that. I was willing to make that movie for $1 million.
Right.
But it was like some big money hedge fund type guys that wanted to, like, puff out their chest and say, if we're going to make a movie, we're going to spend. Stamos is getting a trailer. Rappaport's getting a trailer. Brian Callen's getting a trailer. Nobody even knew who he was.
The mere fact that Bob Saget gave it to Stamos says something about you and
true.
him. You know what I mean? Like, because how many people come up to Saget and say, "Hey, can you do this? Can you get this to this guy?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." You know what I mean? Like, that had to have been him going, "All right, this guy's funny. I know this guy. Stamos, read this."
Yeah, he had a lot of confidence in me, and plus I had written other things that Bob had read.
Right.
And so I could write. I always loved writing just as much as I love stand-up.
Yeah.
But stand-up was like my passion. So I stayed on the stand-up course, but I would always be writing on the side. And so as things got written and finished, excuse me, I would show them, I'd show them to my friends or show them to people, and they'd be like, "Hey, man, you got to figure out a way to make this." And so it's not easy.
No,
making
but
a movie is one of the toughest
So how
things.
much money does My Man is a Loser make?
So My Man is a Loser gets sold to Lionsgate. It doesn't make a lot of money.
Does it make enough to cover the nut?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it ends up covering the nut on streaming. So download. So after the first year, it really didn't even make any money because there was really no marketing.
Right.
But somewhere
What year
along
is
the way, this is 8 years ago.
Okay. So
somewhere along the way, it like kind of picks up steam and like finds like another little audience.
Right.
Because it went on Stars and it went on a couple other networks that sort of caught a new audience. And so I kind of learned the movie game a little bit, saying like, yeah, your movie could do nothing in the beginning,
right,
but it might catch an audience.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Right.
One of those movies. Scarface.
A lot of these movies, they come out, you don't get the marketing behind them, and then they find their audience eventually. So My Man is a Loser did well. And then I did a stand-up guy, which was just like a funny idea. I always had an idea about like a guy going to witness protection program.
Right.
And what if he's funny, does he just like turn off his personality?
That's pretty good.
So it was about a guy who goes into the witness protection, and he ends up doing stand-up on an open mic one night, and he becomes accidentally famous because he gets in a fight in the bar. And so whatever.
Now he's back out.
Wrote that, and then that got sold to Netflix.
Who was in that? The Rappaport again?
Oh, I did. Rappaport had a small part.
Right.
Rappaport's like this. I'll do it. Just show up with a bag. 10,000 in paper. You know what I need. Just show up with the bag. He loves a bag.
Yeah.
He's old school New York, so he gets the bag.
He's great.
And I always know he delivers. He's super pro, super on time, and like just a great actor.
And he is a great actor. He really is.
is.
Yeah. He and I had a huge fight.
Over?
And, it was my fault. I was being a dick. And he had gone on Howard so many times and was like really turning into. I told him he was turning into a whackpacker. Like he used to be this great actor. So right as I'm driving and listen to it, we get an email. Would you like to have Michael Rappaport on the show? And I go, yes, I would. So I could tell him how much he sucks now, and I did. And he fired right back at me, and it was great. And then I kept buying cameos and making him make cameos that he didn't know he was making for me, and it was great. And then one day he was coming to town, and he called me, and he said his fake son, what's that kid's name?
Dean.
Dean called me and said, look, we're coming. Mike doesn't want to have bed. I was like, no, I'm not really mad. I'm like, come on. And we've been tight ever since. He's really like a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. As crazy as he is on the internet and doing his thing, he's that much of a good dude.
Yep.
That's so funny.
So I'm gonna tell you my 2 scripts that I wrote that I love that I try to tell every celebrity about, and you tell me which one sounds more promising.
Let's go.
So I got a guy who is a local TV anchor, and his goal is to be like the next Regis. He wants that midday talk show housewife gig. And he gets called into the office. He thinks he's going to get that gig, and he ends up getting fired. Mm-hmm. And his wife, who left her job at CNN to be his wife, she when she left her career, she said that she's going to stay home and be a mother. They couldn't have kids. They adopt this Asian kid. Now, the guy didn't want kids at all because he wanted to be Regis. she has to go back to work now at CNN, and he has to take care of the kid. And the kid's Wang, this little Asian kid. And the show's called Me and Wang. And now this guy has to take Wang, and then Wang turns out to be a genius. So he starts taking Wang to the track and doing things along those lines. That's one. Then the whole idea is how him and Wang develop a good relationship. Then the other one, which is the one I really liked, actually wrote a lot of, was you get this one I wrote with Faison Love. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, very well.
Faison Love and Chris Stefano in the roles. Chris Stefano is a low-level mob guy. He works for a mobster. He's like not even the muscle guy. He's the guy that goes and collects the money. And Faison Love is the guy who carries a gun and protects a drug dealer. And both those guys went to high school together, and they both want out of that life. So they both decide to get rid of everything, go on the run, and leave together. And they're going to go out. But the problem is that things keep happening, and they have to keep doing one more job together. And like one Faison's mother's got to go in a nursing home, and they need the money, so they got to go pull one more job together. And it's these two guys who don't really like each other having to work together. That one I think could actually be pretty funny.
So was the first one a movie or a TV show you wrote it as?
So in my head, it's a TV show because it's going to take time for the relationship between Wang and the father, who in my head at the time was Alec Baldwin, to develop that relationship. I think Alec Baldwin's too old now. But I don't know. I'm
gonna give you my semi-professional opinion.
This. Yeah.
Okay. I think the first one is a great
Me and Wang
movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a movie. And you know how people are adopting teens these days?
Yes, that was the whole point. She gets a little Asian kid.
You adopt an Asian kid.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's taking
he don't
him to
want
the
it.
track.
Yeah.
He's picking horses.
Yeah.
You're making money. Wife has to go back to work. Meanwhile, eventually, maybe she ends up not having to work because you're making so much money with Wang.
Right.
that you guys end up killing it, and the family gets to just live at home, and you just put Wang in a room, and he's picking bets. He's running the book.
You get Rappaport, I'll bring you in on the project.
Get Wang. I got Rappaport. You get Wang.
I'll get Wang. No problem.
By the way, we just pick let's just fund it in your neighborhood. Yeah. This place is beautiful. Knock on 4 doors, you'll have $5 million.
Listen to me. If we were to go get Wang, you know what we do? We go like they did with what was that Captain Phillips movie where they went and they got that guy from Ethiopia who never acted before. Yeah. I'm the captain now. That's we just go get a Wang. We just go, and if it doesn't work, we'll exchange him for another one.
Let's go. There's Wangs everywhere.
There's Wangs everywhere.
Yo, that's easy. There's a Wang right now dying to act.
Dude, that would be great, man.
I want
an ugly Wang. I don't want a cute little Asian kid. I want one with big buck teeth and weird haircut, like they can't grow hair on the sides. Yeah. And I want him to be really disappointed with like, this is our kid. We adopted this kid. Now we're stuck with Wang.
Yeah.
You know,
Donga need food.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
good.
you gotta get real. The second one's good. I was just trying to fit you like the road movies. You got to really think those out,
right?
Because if they want to because if you're a criminal and you want to get out of the life, you know, it's one of they pull me back in. It's too much to think about. What if they got to keep robbing places? They might as well just be
the thing in my head was it was in the 80s, and they were just Chris Stefano's role was just such a fumbling Staten Island, New York idiot that it would be great. And Faison Love is constantly annoyed with his face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
80s changes things a little bit, but I like you and Wang.
Me and Wang.
I could see you and Wang. That doesn't even cost a lot.
No.
All the money's going to be on adopting Wang.
Yeah. And the first episode that she goes back to work on CNN, she has to interview Rick Springfield, and he's pissed off because she banged Rick Springfield back in the day, and it's always been like a bone of contention in their relationship.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she did. And because we can get Rick Springfield.
Oh, that's hilarious because I actually have a thing where I wrote, and one of the moms had slept with Brett Michaels back in the day. And she named her kid Brett. Her last name's Michaels. Bro, I got you.
We had a guy who worked on the show. He used to be our producer back in the day, who had a son. Do you remember this? Rob's son. His wife slept with some guy in a band. Remember this?
Breaking Benjamin.
Oh yeah. And then named the kid Benji.
Oh yeah.
And he was guaranteed it was after that guy.
That's terrible.
It was his son, but he guaranteed he named it after the Breaking Benjamin guy.
So many of those girls are out there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just one bad night with Rod Stewart. You know what I mean? 19 years old, thought you were a fan.
Oh, that's great.
It happens.
Now you and Steve Simone, why is it that every comic loves Steve Simone?
Because he's not only hilarious, but he's just the sweetest guy.
The only comedian to ever come here, not that I need it, but the only comedian to ever come here, and every time he comes, brings me gifts. I brought you these cookies. I brought you this pastry.
Yeah,
He's the sweetest guy ever.
He is. He's like, Mike, when you land, you'll come to my mom's house for meatballs.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love you, buddy. I haven't been feeling great. I'm not going to get the meatballs today. I'll see you at the club. But I came up with Simone at the Comedy Store. So he came up with, he kind of came up behind me, Brett, and Sebastian.
Right.
He was maybe 5 years later than us, but we all embrace him, and he's so funny. And
He
to be
is-
able to be hilarious and clean like that, and he's just a good. Anytime you say anything, like I'm a little bit street, you know what I mean? Instead like compared to Simone, but anytime I say anything semi-negative, he always like gives me one of these.
Sign of the
He's one of the
cross.
sweetest people. I never saw that coming for him.
Yeah,
he just sees the best in people.
I went to go see a couple of comedians at a comedy club, and he was one of them. And he had been on the show a couple of times, but I'd never seen him do stand up live, only on videos and stuff. But I know he gets all the guys vouch for him. They're like, he's a great comedian, great guy. So I see him, and he two things about him that blow my mind. One, he's not gay, which blows my mind because he's everything about him, from him being well dressed and well manicured to being a little bit on the Fanucci side. He seems bringing me baked goods. He seems like it might be. But then I met his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Still couldn't believe he wasn't gay after I met his girlfriend. But watched him get up on stage and absolutely crush. I mean, what a funny guy.
Yeah.
What a funny guy.
Unique style.
Yeah. And knew his audience because he did some stuff about a local sheriff. Like he knew what to say to the crowd. He was real smart, real good comic.
Yeah. And I talked to him the other day. He loves it out here. He just drives up and down Florida doing gigs, making a living.
Yep.
I admire, his ability to he came here, he's making it work.